Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther Variety.
Hello there, wrestling fans. Welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and we are in the month of March, where I celebrate tag teams. There's been so many awesome tag teams that have been on this podcast now, the 4 years running of Dudes at Ringside. There's so many I have to thank over the years. It's kind of crazy. So many podcast interviews and like so many. But now I have these two awesome individuals. It very rarely you can get a tag team that put together that it's not just two people that met on the street or met at training. These people are a family. So introduce yourselves to my internationally known audience, gentlemen.
Well, hello, everyone. We are Controlled Chaos. My name is Joe, and this is my son, Jay. So we are a father-son duo training right now and wrestling at the Monster Factory in New Jersey.
Oh, wow. Actually, if you noticed, you saw in the intro, we had a guy that went to the Monster School in New Jersey. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, it's a big school. A lot of people have been in and out of it, trained there, wrestled there. It's been around for a long time.
Awesome. So first off, with like being a father-son like tag team, do you find it easier to like be like tag team work with your son and trying to get him into this business, or is it you find it harder because harder people to understand with your son? Is it easier, you think?
It's both ways. It can be easy and it can be hard. Overall, I would say percentage-wise, 80% easier for sure. Somewhere around there. You know, we can butt heads from time to time. Father, son, families, that's kind of stuff that happens. So you have to deal with that. But we know each other. We know what kind of wrestling each other likes when we're coming up with tag team moves, when we're training together. I run a martial arts school. He's a black belt. So, you know, he knows how that works. He understands the martial arts. Obviously, I understand the martial arts. I've taught him that. So with the wrestling thing, it just kind of, to be completely honest, to me, it feels like kind of second nature. And it's something great that we're doing to bond together because, I mean, you know, everybody watches wrestling with their dad or their mom or their uncles or their grandfathers, but to actually be able to step in the ring and train. And then on top of that, be able to run shows. And then on top of that, this weekend was the biggest thing for us. We actually won the Monster Factory Tag Team Championships over the weekend at the biggest event of the year for the Monster Factory, the Turkey Slam. So we're on a high right now. We're feeling great, and it's going great.
Awesome, guys. I'm so proud of you both. That's so awesome. Well, many blessings, you guys. That's so cool. And you're also showed the belts off here on Dudes at Ringside. As I said, we are the internationally known home of champions. So we've had people titles as far as London, England, Scotland, Spain, like Poland, like everywhere. Like New York, New Jersey, PA, like people like that. So going into like being like traveling with your son, is there any plans to go like anywhere else, like in Pennsylvania, like in New York? Is there anywhere you want to travel you haven't thought about going to yet?
Well, I trained a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, but I started in 2005 when I was, well, for some people, maybe that would be considered a long time ago. When I was about 18, 19, 20 years old. I started then. I found the Monster Factory in 2015, and I did about a year there. But, you know, with family stuff and running a karate school, it was really hard to keep track of it all. So we actually started together in January at the Monster Factory. We started in January. He had his first show in September. So that was at the Monster Factory, of course, because, you know, they're awesome there. They're great there. We're really used to it there. You know, with certain places, you don't know how people work. Everyone tries to take care of each other. But at the Monster Factory, we know it's that way. So it's very comfortable. And I also had a friend of mine that runs DCW, Dynamite Championship Wrestling in Delaware. And we really love it there. So right now we're juggling the Monster Factory and DCW. But, you know, things come from time to time. You get messages about shows. There's a couple places that we might want to check out local. But for now, we're kind of focused on those two. And it's a lot, you know, with the training and the shows. And we have weekly Friday shows at the Monster Factory. So we're always on the mat. So
awesome. This is a question for your son. What was it like the first time you stepped through the curtain? What was your energy like?
It was very nerve-wracking, but I knew that's what I wanted, and I knew that's what I've been waiting for. So, as much as it was nerve-wracking, it was also very exciting. I was just excited to be a part of professional wrestling. It's nice to feel like you're a part of a locker room and be actually a part of it, and not just a fan, which is awesome also. So yeah, it's like I've never experienced anything like that. That's for sure.
That's awesome. So, out of the both of you, like, who would you say would be like your all-time favorite wrestlers?
You want me to take that first?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a hard question for most. I'm sure the wrestlers that have been on your podcast before, of course, that's a question you ask. It's probably tough for them because there's so many, right?
Oh, gosh. Years and years, generations.
And then when we get off the podcast, I'm going to be like, oh, man, I wish I would have said this person because I've been influenced by so many. But, of course, there's like the Shawn Michaels and the Undertakers. For me, martial arts is my thing. So when I was a kid, I was so intrigued by Rob Van Dam because Rob Van Dam was able to take martial arts and pro wrestling and piece it together. Not only awesome, it was great in the ring. Obviously, it's phenomenal, but so creative at the same time. So I took so many things from Rob Van Dam. So he's my all-time favorite. Tag team wise, because we are a tag team, there's a lot of great tag teams out there too. I mean, best tag team of all time is the Dudley Boys. But I would take a little bit more from the Eliminators just because they have that faster pace. They put their kick combos together so awesome, especially for the time. They were really far ahead of their time.
Finisher.
Total elimination. And finisher is critical chaos. And it's kind of like a mix of that. Like we do different kicks, paying homage to that team because we love them so much. And yeah, one of the best finishers of all time. Now it's like the high-low. Everybody does it in different ways because it's just – it was ahead of its time, I think. And nowadays, you got like the Motor City Machine Guns. There's so many great tag teams to choose from now. So Rob Van Dam and Eliminators for me.
And then for me, I would say Jeff Hardy is my favorite. He was always different the way he looked, the way he wrestled, and I always liked that. And he was cool too. Everything he did was so good. And then John Cena also. He was like my hero growing up, I guess you could say.
The GOAT.
Yeah, it's John Cena. Yeah.
He's the GOAT.
The GOAT.
You can't see him. You just have to put the goggles on. I can't see him.
Yeah.
Hold on. There he is.
We can feel his energy. You know what I mean? We can feel him. So
yeah. So are there any tag teams on the scene that you've been watching on the Instagrams or the YouTubes from like the indie scene that you guys want to work with that you hadn't had a chance to get a chance to work with them?
Team wise, my friend Mark that I used to train with at BWO in 2005, his son just got accepted into the WWE ID program. Marcus Mathers, if I'm not mistaken. I'm bad with names sometimes, but
I know him. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would really like to get in the ring with them. Just like one of my other friends says, kind of full circle it, because I did start with Mark. And he's always a great guy, and he taught me a lot because I was just getting started at the time. And he's with his son, and you don't see that often. It's really cool that him and I were wrestling, and now our sons are wrestling. So to have that father-son versus father-son would be really fun. And then there's a lot of great tag teams at the Monster Factory. We were just in the ring with Travis and Mimi last night. They were the Monster Factory Tag Team Champions. They've held every championship there a million times. I mean, Mimi was in NXT. So, they're fantastic. World renowned.
She's such a doll.
Have you had her on the podcast?
I had, she likes, you can't do, like, you have to sponsor her. But
okay.
I got a chance to sit and talk to her because, me with the podcast, people see the red glasses immediately. Like, what is this guy? Who is this guy? Why is he walking around with the red glasses and a blue suit coat? So I walk over to the table. I talk to her. I asked her, mentioned the podcast. She said, well, you have to sponsor me. And I was like, okay. And then I asked her, well, would I be able to get like a quick interview, like right here, like on the spot? And she goes, her boyfriend's standing on the opposite side of me. She goes, and he goes,
yep. Yeah.
She goes,
all right. Yep.
Okay. So we sat and we just talked and chatted. I asked her a few questions about her career and stuff like that and her aspirations. But being with working with NXT for a little time and a little conversation. Like that's what I treat these interviews like. I hate treating them like we have the hot light on you guys and you're asking you the hard questions. I like it like we're at the bar eating wings, drinking beer, watching wrestling, just chilling, or drinking soda. Either way. But yeah,
Or water. Yeah, I got you.
yeah.
No, it's like life. It's like, what has your life been like? What has your journey been like? Just two people talking, three people talking, four people. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
my
yeah,
favorite thing about it.
she's great. They're great. That was a really great tag team to be in the ring with, and we learned a lot from them. And it's just an honor to be in there with them. I mean, we've only been a tag team for 2 months, and then they're helping us to become tag team champions, and it's just it means a lot. So, and right now we're kind of embroiled in a little feud with the Broad Street Bullies, Liam Black and Jake Manley. They're amazing, and we're hoping to keep that feud going a little bit too. So more focus like on the present. But there's so many great tag teams out there, right? It's crazy. Even for filling up your March tag team month, there's so many to choose from.
South Philly's Finest is another good squad.
I have seen clips for sure. Yep.
I love when they come out with this song "Rag to Riches." Oh my god, I'm like,
yeah, it's like that's awesome. It gets the fans just by listening, just by seeing, it gets the fans involved like that. As wrestlers, sometimes it's hard to find that, but if they found that with you, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. It's cool to think that, like, I don't know if you guys feel like this since COVID, now professional wrestling has like found a new niche, a new hook. Like they had what I would call it the mom and pop era, and now it's like this new era of independent wrestling has come up. I don't know if you guys feel that way.
Well, there's big companies out there. I mean, and there's big companies that are doing well. I mean, obviously you got WWE, but you also have AEW, you have TNA. You have all these companies that are doing well. So, and some of them, like always, old school, they're pulling from the indies. So, and again, Monster Factory has that pipeline. I mean, there's been so many. I mean, just to name one of the biggest right now, Damian Priest. I mean, he came straight from the Monster Factory, and he is. I was talking with someone in the factory today about it. Like, there isn't much he hasn't done there in WWE. I mean, he's killing it. So, I mean, just like, yeah, it's hot. And more than anything else, we're focused on stuff like that, but we're having fun. We're having a good time. So,
yeah, that's the most important part when you're doing this. You have to have fun. You just can't treat it like, oh God, it's a job. I gotta go home, go get my shorts on, and go to my locker. And if you're not having fun, you shouldn't be there. Like with this, we're doing podcasting. As I said, I don't treat this like an interview, like we're talking like regular people. And so with your son, with having like myself having an intellectual disability, does it sometimes feel like there's a wall there, like when you're working with certain people, that it's hard to explain when you're working with them, but when you start to talking with the wrestler to work with them, or do you find it easier?
Well, I'll let my son take this one. It's not an intellectual for him disability.
Well, that's me. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, absolutely. No, it's all right. It's he has a rare genetic disorder that does hinder him from certain things. But I'll let you take that one.
Ultimately, everybody's been really good with me, especially at the factory and at DCW. Everybody's been really good with me. I haven't had any issues, and yeah, they've all taken care of me really well. So I appreciate that from everybody. They've been really good to me.
But tell him more. I mean, he has hearing aids. It's a little harder for him.
I wear hearing aids, so I have to take them out when I wrestle. Sometimes it's a little hard for me to hear in the ring, but everybody's been good at speaking a little louder and making sure I hear everything. I don't sweat, so sometimes I overheat. But we've been dealing with that pretty well in the ring. So, my head, I don't have hair, so my head is a little more fragile, and everybody's good at not grabbing my head too hard or too much, and people are cautious of that. So,
yeah, I wanted to ask that question, but I didn't want to like ask it in a way that it sounded like I was being mean or anything, because being a person with a disability, it's always good to see another person with a disability doing so awesome and doing something that they like. How long has it been? Like, when was it the first time you like sat your son down to watch a wrestling show? Like, what year? What age? How old was he?
I have a horrible memory. But do you remember?
I don't remember that. No, not exactly.
Well, I know that we did everything wrestling. So we played all the wrestling video games. We wrestled with the wrestling action figures, had our little matches and stuff like that. You know, we bought the oversized teddy bears from Costco. We would wrestle in the basement with them and throw them through boxes and make fake tables. At the karate school, I mean, everything's at my disposal, like some crash mats, some kicking pads. We would set stuff up. I'd have my friends come over and we would jump on them and put them through the little kick. You know what I mean? Stuff that people normally do. But we would always sit down and watch wrestling. Oh my gosh. To the point where probably my wife's like, come on, guys. Is there anything else you want to watch? And it's like, nah, not really. I mean, wrestling's
Having
good.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool that like you had like that father-son bond with the wrestling. That's so cool. I like find that's why I was like, I have to book these guys because it's so cool to see this. Like
That's awesome.
really warms my heart. Like makes me happy that like you see this in wrestling. It's like it's hard to find. You got families like bloodline and stuff like that that are in the wrestling business. But it's the one thing is if it's a father-son working with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool. I'm seeing it like, especially with my friend Mark, but there's a couple other ones. And again, I'm bad with names and stuff like that. I don't know, but through clips I've seen on the indies, there are a couple other father-son duos, which is really cool to see. I mean, because again, you have that connection. The dad probably has that experience and probably brought his son into this. And the son probably watched his dad wrestle. So it's just like so many little pieces that are like coming together to form this kind of tag team where it's like almost like, you know, you're getting the guy in the corner and it's like, oh, we're hitting that tag move we always hit first, right? Yep, that's it. We already kind of know it. Let's just, you know what I mean? It's just easier that way.
Awesome. So if I've been doing this for like the past now 2 years asking this question. If you wanted to gain some fans of mine that are from the UK, what are 5 words that you guys could say individually that can gain some fans?
5 words that would gain fans.
Like be like, ooh, get you guys, even though you guys are already awesome as it is, what words would you use to like explain your tag team?
But then you're narrowing it down to 5 words. That makes
5 words. Yes.
Father, son.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a hard question. That's not a loaded question. It's not a hard question, but I mean, not with 5 words, but it's the father-son. It's the father-son duo. And then the mix of martial arts into what we do that keeps it like exciting. But that's way more than 5 words. So I have to get back to you on that one.
You can message me on Instagram later on. I'll put it I'll put it in the bio with the video. Like
awesome.
One of the questions that
I'll let him do it. He's the Instagram guy. So unless he has the 5 words, he can jump on those 5 words right now.
I don't think I have the 5 words. I like what you said.
Okay. It was
Okay.
That's true. You said more than 5.
Okay. It's okay. I'm still happy to have you guys on. This is so much fun. So my last few questions for you, where do you see you guys in 5 to 10 years in the wrestling business?
5 to 10 years. So do you want to take that one first? Or do you want me to take that one first? Okay. A lot of people long-term plan, and that's fantastic. That's like I was listening to a podcast, and again, I don't remember who it was. It was a wrestling personality for sure. And they said something along the lines of short-term goals, kind of like not meaning anything to them. It's the long term that matters. Like you plan for the long term, you stick to the path. If something happens to veer you off that path, you stay on that path. Even if you start changing your mind, like maybe this isn't for me, your plan and your path were 2 years. So finish it. And then after that 2 years, see what happens. And I appreciate that, level of thinking. I'm more of a short term kind of guy. Like with karate, you want your black belt. I knew I wanted to be a karate instructor, but there's the white belt, there's the orange belt, there's the yellow belt, there's the green belt. Little goals in between. So, and now for me, I'm 38 years old. So I do have to be realistic and honest about things. This is the first time ever that I'm feeling pain because I never did before, because judo, martial arts, getting thrown constantly. We had a demo team and we still do with karate. And of course, in our karate demos, we put wrestling moves. Of course, why would we not? You know what I mean? So, but I've never felt pain ever. The only thing that ever happened to me was a bad ankle that I had to have surgery on because of kicking over and over again. So Long term, I mean, I would love to stick with it. I mean, if we're talking like not realistic, but dreams. I mean, NXT is the breeding ground of what we really enjoy watching and we really like. So, I mean, if one day we could make it to NXT, that would be cool. But for the time being, I really want to put some work in and some equity into the Monster Factory because it does mean a lot to me. It means a lot to my son. I mean, I had one of his birthday parties there, and then we never forgot that, you know. So yeah, on the short term, keep doing what we're doing, keep having fun, try to stay safe and not get injured, and you know, start adding in a couple more independent companies that we can wrestle for, make some good connections, you know, things like that. I just keep working hard because that kind of stuff gets noticed. You know, you put your head down, you put the work in, you move the chairs, you set up the ring, you do what you're told to do, you help when you can help, and you help others. I've been doing this for a while, so I mean, I'm not going to step on anyone's toes out of there at the factory because they know what they're talking about. But if someone came to me and asked me for advice, you know, I would give it the best that I could. So in the short term, you know, but like I said, we are having a good time. So unless something happens, we're not ending it anytime soon. That's for sure.
That's awesome.
Go for it. Your turn.
Your turn, big guy.
Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much agree. Like, my dream is to make it to the WWE, and that's such a big dream, though. So I try not to think of it like that's what I'm 100% going for. And right now, I'm kind of in the same boat as him, where it's just, let's get out there, let's get our name out there and meet new people, go to new companies, and just, you know, fill ourselves up on the indie scene and just kind of see where it takes us. You know, maybe it'll take us here, maybe it'll take us there, who knows?
Yeah. By me, there's a lot of cool promotions where I live in Pennsylvania. We have Battlefield Pro Wrestling, which is owned by one of the sons of the Wild Samoans, Alpha Jr.
I've seen that. Yep. We live in Pennsylvania too. So
I'm from the Poconos.
Okay. Yeah, you're a couple, maybe like an hour or two away or something. We're like in Westchester, Pennsylvania, 20 minutes out of Philly, 25 minutes out of Philly.
I know a lot of. I do Special Olympics, and I know a lot of people from like Bucks County, from Cumberland County, from the teams. I made friends with. You're gonna laugh. You think I would have a lot more guy friends at Special Olympics? I have a lot more female friends because I'm the sweet little teddy bear. That's like, it's okay. You did okay. You did good. Come here.
Oh, there you go.
I'm always coaches are like, stop hugging everybody. As long as the hands stay up here, we're fine. It's like the prom. Hands stay here. Don't below the waist. Hugs on the shoulders. So yeah, PPW is another one that's in Slatington that Paul Bowe is one of the people that owns. A super nice guy. You guys would love Paul.
Yeah, I see their clips all the time on Facebook. They're always doing some great moves and some great drills. Yeah, they're cool. They're cool to watch.
They have the guys from Monster Factory that train there. One of the one that's in my intro. Adrian Soriano. That's
right. Is that from Primal Fear?
Yes, the lead, the lead guy. Yeah.
So when I was in Monster Factory in 2015, when I was on my way out, it was like closer to 2016. They were stepping in, and they were starting their training, and you can see it right away. I mean, I just saw them at the factory maybe like a month ago, I think it was, and it just able to just go over them and talk to me. Like they put on so much muscle mass.
Oh my God.
Their matches look so good now. Their gear looks so good. Their name is so good. Their presence, they're doing great.
If you see him again, tell Adrian, you're like, hey, I was on Dudes at Ringside. He'll be like, I'm on be like, yeah, Adrian, no, we saw your intro. You're in the intro.
That's awesome. Yep.
Yeah. So before we go, gentlemen, if my fans want to pick up any 8x10s or any merch, is there any merch out there so they can pick up?
We don't really have merch yet. So within the karate school, I use a local printer to print out, our hoodies and our t-shirts and stuff like that. And we just got a little bit of wrestling stuff printed out, but just for like our karate students and for us, maybe, hopefully, possibly we'll have something set up, but you definitely find us on Facebook. He'll tell you about that stuff, and on Instagram and messaging and stuff like that. And we can get some 8x10s out and autographs and stuff for sure. Awesome. Go for it. Tell them about it.
Yeah, I'll let you know when we get all that rolling. I haven't yet, like you said, but once we do, I'll shoot you a message and let you know.
Yeah, like just if you get like a pic, like people out on their Instagram, they have a picture of like the T-shirt and how to
Oh, yeah.
find it. Just when you get that graphic made up, send it to me and I'll post it on my Instagram and I'll do a collab with you guys. So it could be on your Instagram and mine, and all my fans will see it and your fans will see it too.
Awesome. That sounds good.
Yeah,
I like to help wrestlers when they do things, you know. I always say hashtag support independent wrestling. And always, if it's not helping, if it's helping me, it's helping you guys.
Yep.
You know, that's what this whole
Absolutely.
thing is.
Yeah, the podcasting helps the wrestlers. I mean, get the name out there, get experience. I mean, you got to get on the mic, you got to be able to talk. So it helps. It's just all good, just a full circle. So
just feel bad sometimes when wrestlers, I understand some wrestlers don't have the right equipment or just don't like sitting on camera and talking to people about wrestling, but I do this to help you guys. It's nothing to do with me. I'm not getting paid. No one, I'm not sponsored by any company or energy drinks. It's just my love, my heart of professional wrestling. That's all it is. It's just the love.
yeah, and you can love it in so many ways, right? You don't just have to wrestle. You don't just have to do this. You don't have to be at a school helping out. Podcasting and streaming and stuff like that and spreading the word. I mean, it all helps. So
it's like when somebody like knocks me at work and tells me, "Oh, you know, it's fake." You know that scene in Full House, and is Full House? No, it's in Family Matters when Laura insults Steve and says, "Why do you love me so much?" And then he's like, with shooting star, how come you can't grab a shooting star? And it's like that whole sad phrase. That's me when I try to tell people why I love independent wrestling so much. It's just something as a little boy watching it and then starting to talk about it. And then I get a chance to actually talk to someone for like an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. It's just make me feel a little more different than what I'm helping them do. It's like, I can go show, buy a t-shirt and they'll be like, "Oh, that's Joe. He bought a t-shirt. That's now for me." But putting putting them on the internet and helping them lift the butterfly wings, say, "Oof, you did it. Look at that." You know, like that, helping them lift themselves up a little more makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, absolutely. Some people don't understand that idea of thinking maybe somebody just has a view of pro wrestling as like, "Oh, why do you like that stuff?" But at the end of the day, you know, everybody judges. It's just human nature. But if you take a step back and you look at it and it's like, this person loves this, it makes them feel good, which in turn makes other people feel good, then you do whatever makes you feel good. You know what I mean? And we love pro wrestling. So that's what we do, you know?
Yeah. It's so cool. Guys, before we go, where can they find you guys on social media if they want to follow you?
Or you could say about the Facebooks and Instagrams and all that stuff.
Oh, on Instagram it's at Controled Chaos, and then we don't have a Facebook page.
Our Facebooks are just our names. So.
Yeah, it's just like a regular Facebook account. So Joe Pagano and Jacob Pagano.
And you can find Monster Factory on YouTube, and they stream all their TRLs there and all their shows there. There's tons of content, and there are tons of great wrestlers that who knows where they're going to go.
And they're on Facebook and Instagram too. So.
I live in PA, but I'm going to definitely tell my buddy Justin to see if we can come to a Monster Factory show, because that'd be cool.
Awesome.
To meet you guys in person and take a picture with you guys and just.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have stickers.
Yeah,
like, guys,
stickers.
So. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast to help me open Tag Team Month. It means the world to me. I'm Joe Panther III.
I'm Joe Pagano.
I'm Jacob Pagano.
Control Chaos.
Yeah. And we will catch you in the next one.
Thank you.